report another instructional here for the upper body movements that we do in our Flip the Gym classes. So if you haven't watched it already, I've done a lower body instructional. You can check that one out. It will introduce kind of the structure to the classes as well as all the lower body movements that we do. And you can do that 20-minute or so workout as you learn all the forms that are appropriate for the lower body work that we do. So in today's probably take about a 20-minute instructional, I'm going to go through upper body movements and give you coaching on things to watch out for on form. It's important, of course, to keep proper form as you build strength to protect your joints and your spine in particular. So I'm going to talk you through those, and hopefully as you gain confidence in doing these single muscle group exercises, then as you continue on and do more Flip the Gym classes or workout videos or live pop-ups or even the other strength training that you do, that you'll gain confidence in doing it the right way so that it will really be best for your body and strength training. All right, so today's set of 6, I'm going to cycle through shoulder, back, chest, bicep, tricep exercises that we incorporate into our classes so that you'll learn about how to do those upper body motions correctly. And then as we move into building out more complex exercises, you'll recognize these as a part of that training as well. So as I always do on the Flip the Gym classes, I'll get our timer started. The timer is set to 20 seconds of work, so as many reps as you can do in that time, a 10-second break. Each of our exercises we'll do 6 times, and in today's class I'm going to work through different variations within those 6 sets so that you can learn about the different exercises that we do in our classes. So I'll get the timer, actually let's do a quick warm-up of our upper body, and then I'll get the timer going. So since we're mainly upper body today, let's start out with some dynamic arm circles. Get those shoulders warmed up a bit. Okay, and then let's do a few air squats with a cross punch. Anytime we're warming up, we want to do so dynamically with movement. So that gives your heart a chance to start pumping a little heavier, gets your muscles warm and ready for activity. Okay, now same with the lower body, and we're going to do an overhead reach. A few more of these, we'll get the timer started. So if you've got a lightweight set of dumbbells, I'm going to use those in today's demo. Or otherwise, you can just do these without any weight, maybe a couple water bottles, and you'll get the instructional so you'll get the right form. All right, I'm going to get the timer started. You'll see that behind me. You're going to start out with that set of dumbbells. We're going to work on shoulder work first. So first one is a shoulder press. My palms are facing away from me, and I'm just pressing from my shoulders up over my head. And when you're doing these, what you'll see is my arms are coming a little bit forward. My hands, as I press up, they're coming forward kind of above my forehead. There's our 10-second break. Round 2, we'll do that same thing. Okay, so from your shoulders, you're pressing up overhead. And as I said, just kind of breaking that body plane a little bit with your hands forward on these. Break. Okay, of course we're working against gravity here, so you might feel it. It doesn't take much weight to feel the work on these. Round 3, we're going to do a reverse press. So we'll start with our hands overhead, and we're alternating, bringing that one arm, one hand down to the shoulder and back up again. So when I call for a reverse exercise, that means we're going to start it, you're going to kind of flip the order that you do things, right? So a shoulder press, we start with our hands at our shoulders. A reverse shoulder press, we start with our hands overhead. Go. So I'll use the term reverse, and that means you're going to start start kind of in the upswing or downswing motion from what we may traditionally do. I'll also use the term negative sometimes, meaning a negative, like a negative push-up, which we're going to do in a bit. A negative push-up is when you're only going to do the down motion, not the push motion. All right, our last shoulder press is going to be an Arnold press. So I'm going to start in bicep hold. The weights are just about at my chin level, and I'm going to circle around to press overhead. That's an Arnold press after Arnold Schwarzenegger. So my objective with these instructionals is, if you haven't done the class before, great. If you're thinking about coming to a live pop-up or you just want to check out the videos, these are a good instructionals, were a good place to start. We'll do another round of Arnold's here. Once you've got a grasp of these core movements, then you'll see that we kind of repeat them in different variations throughout our classes. Break. All right, our second exercise is going to be raises. So front shoulder raises, lateral shoulder raises, and then another variation that I call a whole world. So front shoulder raises, just like they sound. My hands start out at my sides with a weight in hand. I'm pressing up to about shoulder level and then bringing back down toward my body. So an important thing to remember with these ones, the important thing to remember here is that the work is also in the lowering. When we do these, sometimes I may ask you to think about changing your pace or tempo, where you're going to go slow up for 2, down for 2, or maybe I'll ask you up for 1, 2, 3, down for 1, break. So we might vary our tempo on those. Go. Great. All right, we're going to do 2 rounds of lateral shoulder raises. So lateral, of course, just means out to the side. So similar body motion, but instead of coming out in front of me, I'm taking those dumbbells out to my side and gently lowering down back toward my body. So as I raise up, my arms are not, or my hands rather, aren't going up past my shoulders. So I'm not flying my arms up in the air, right? Controlled motion up to shoulder level, controlled motion back down to my sides. Okay, we'll do one more there. Go. So in my 30 and 40-minute videos, we'll follow the same Tabata timer, maybe 6 to 8 exercises that we'll do 6 times each of the exercises. So 6 sets, break. All right, our last one is going to be whole world. So you'll start with your hands down in front of you, palms facing out. And you're going to create a full circle to come up overhead and back down again. And similar to where I said with the shoulder press, you'll see my hands are slightly in front of my body when I come up overhead. Okay, so the structure of the class, 6 to 8 exercises, 6 sets of each exercise. Break with 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off. In between those exercises, I might go for 2 minutes. Here we go, one more whole world. In between those exercises, we'll go for 2 minutes. And in that 2 minutes, we might do a cardio set or a core set. The idea here, of course, is high intensity, get your heart rate going. What you may find if you're with someone or talking to yourself or singing along with the radio you're playing, break. Then you'll be able to get out a couple words maybe and be a bit winded, and that's good. That's appropriate. All right, next motion is hinge forward. We're going to work on our back, so our upper back and lat muscle that runs along our side. So if you watch the lower body video, when I hinge forward, this is like a deadlift motion. My weight is in my heels. I'm squeezing my glutes. Okay, the first one we're going to do is a bent over row. So I want you to think about that lower body form when you're in this position, where again, your toes will wiggle freely, your weight's in your heels, you're squeezing your glutes to hold yourself locked into place. A bent over row, the weights are coming down toward the floor, my elbows are staying in toward my body. Break. My elbows are staying close to my body as I skim and glide up to where I have the weight at my side, like in my rib cage. Okay, so you'll pay particular attention to this exercise. This is a bent over row, and I'm working my upper back. You might think about squeezing your shoulder blades together, and that should be where you feel this motion. In a bent over row, break. In a bent over row, you're squeezing those shoulder blades together. In a little bit, we're going to do a tricep kickback, where the form is really similar, but I start with my weight up toward my body, and I'm swinging my hands toward the back, okay? So my next back exercise that we're going to do is a reverse fly. So you're going to hinge forward, weights start down in front of me, and I'm reaching out kind of like that shoulder raise motion. But here again, you're going to think about squeezing those shoulder blades together behind you. Break. Okay, so that's a reverse fly. We'll do one more round of those. Go, so hinge forward, weights together down in front of me, and then I'm pressing my shoulder blades together and bringing my hands out beside me. Break. All right, similarly, the last 2 rounds of back work we're going to do here, we're going to hinge forward. I'll start with my hands down like I did in that last exercise in reverse flies, but instead I'm going to press those hands up straight behind me. Okay, so my elbows are a little bit soft, they're a little bit bent, and as I draw my hands back, again thinking about squeezing those shoulder blades together, you may find almost a magnetic force as you draw your hands toward your back and squeeze your shoulder blades, that your hands are drawn together a little bit behind you. Okay, last one, hinge forward, go. Squeeze those shoulder blades together. Good work, 10 seconds here. Here I have a visitor. Hello, Henry, I'm recording a video, so could we kindly chat soon? In my purse. Great. All right. For the next exercise, we're going to come down to the floor or your mat. You can bring those weights with you. You'll need those. The first thing we're going to do is our plank form. So I do a lot of push-ups. It's a great total body exercise. Of course, the main focus is chest and shoulders. But in a push-up, a good push-up starts with a strong plank. So our first 2 rounds here, we're going to plank. Your fingers are going to be spread apart. Your elbows are going to be facing, and for me, they're facing the wall in front of me, okay, so away from my body. My shoulders are stacked above my wrists. As I come up on my toes, I should form a straight line from the top of my head down to my heels. Okay, so my booty is not up, my booty is not dropped. I am squeezing my core, I am squeezing my buns and my hamstrings. You can take a break there. Here we go, round 2 of this plank hold. Hope you enjoyed meeting my youngest. He makes an appearance sometimes. This is real life, right? All right, so my shoulders are dropped away from my ears. They're not crouched up. Break. All right, so next round is going to be a practice push-up. So if you've got the strength to come onto your toes, of course a good push-up starts in that plank form. My elbows stay in toward my body. I'm pressing my nose down to the floor and back up again. Most critical being to keep your body firm in a straight line, right, like you did when you were in that plank hold. Okay, good modifications for a push-up. I don't like the knee push-up. A knee push-up doesn't allow you to build that total body strength like a straight leg push-up does. So I would much rather you find a wall and mirror that same, resemble that same form into a wall. You can start there. As you build up on a wall push-up, you can step those feet further and further from the wall as you get stronger, and then ultimately be working your way down to a bench or a chair that you're holding in that position as you get, decrease your angle and get down to the floor. So the last modification that I'll demo here in our second, or our last 2 rounds here, the last modification that I'll demo is just to work on your negative push-up. So if you build up strength working on the wall, then working toward a bench or maybe a chair, your last option for a modification here that still builds strength in total body here is just to focus on your negative push-up. So I'll start in high plank form. Negative means I'm just lowering my body to the ground, but I don't have to use my arms, shoulders to push myself back up. I allow myself getting up on the knees and working my way up to high plank position. Okay, so that's a good way to modify push-ups. All right, next one we're going to be on our backs and work on some of the chest exercises we do. So chest press or flies. We use dumbbells for these. You're flat on your back. Of course, if you've got a bench or a yoga ball, that's a great way to do a chest press. We'll start with the traditional chest press. My knees are bent, my palms are facing my feet or the wall opposite me. And as I start with my elbows in a 90-degree angle because I can't go past the floor, and then I press those weights up above my chest. Great. Okay, so a chest press can take a few different variations. So I'll start with my palms facing out. This is a traditional chest press. And then we can vary up the angle of our hands. So I could do it like that. I could bring my palms facing one another, but still keep my elbows going out toward the side. Sometimes I might ask you to add a loop band there. All right, the next variation I'm going to show you is the hex press. So the hex press means I put my dumbbells together right on my chest and I press them away from my body and back toward my chest. Okay, pressing up and back down. So all along you want to be checking your breathing. Right. The best way to oxygenate your body is going to be to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Go. That's the best way to kind of control your heart rate and as you work and challenge yourself. All right, so this is the hex press with those weights together and pressing over my chest. Break. All right, the last one is a chest fly. So similar, we did that reverse fly when we were hinged forward and we were squeezing our shoulder blades together. A chest fly means I'm going to start similar to that hex press. I press those weights up over my chest together, and then I'm going to lower them out to my sides like the letter T and bring back together. So my elbows are slightly soft, they're slightly bent. But just ever so slightly as I go out and in. So this one really, really isolates the chest or the pectoral muscles. Go. In a chest press, which is the motion I just showed you, that one will rely dually on the chest and the shoulders. So Nothing wrong with that, of course. It's just each of these different exercises works different muscle groups. Right. That chest fly, I like to add a loop band in for an additional challenge there sometimes. So that's part of our work. All right, last round, you're going to come up to your feet. I'm going to go through each of these variations one time. So we'll start with the traditional curl. I'm going to show you 3 variations of a curl and then 3 variations of tricep work that we incorporate into our workouts. All right, so first one is a traditional bicep curl. My palms are facing away from my body the whole time from when they're down, and then of course are coming up toward my body and facing my chest as I curl the dumbbell toward my body. All right, so that's a traditional curl. Sometimes we might vary that up and I'll say just the lower half, right? So I'm just going to raise up to a 90 degree, or you might just do an upper half where I start at 90 degrees and squeeze it toward my body. All right, next curl variation is going to be a wide curl. So I've twisted my hands so that they're out toward my side. And as I bicep curl, those weights are coming up toward my shoulders, but out toward my side. That's my least favorite one. So I'll probably tell you that every time I call for a wide curl. That one, of course, really isolates the bicep because there's no part of your body that's going to help out whenever you stick your arms out at that awkward angle. All right, last variation of a curl is a hammer curl. So my palms are facing each other as I draw that weight up toward my shoulders. And you'll notice even if you've got the same weight going for all 3 of these, or even if it's body weight, I think you can feel slightly different muscle groups that you're working and slightly different challenge kind of depending on those different variations. All right, last 3 rounds here, we're going to do triceps. So the first one will start with that hinge forward. So if you remember, the bent over row looks like this. My hands are down toward the ground and I'm grazing those elbows alongside my body. That's a bent over row. The tricep kickback, I'm going to start with my elbows up, pressing those hand weights toward the back wall. I like one of the fitness experts that I pay a lot of attention to, read a lot about from, says mind to muscle a lot. And I like that phrase. So the next one's going to be tricep dips. Press those weights overhead. On this one, my upper arms will stay parallel to one another, so my elbows are shoulder width apart. I don't want chicken arms, right? I don't want my elbows going out toward the side. But I like that mind to muscle quote because it makes you think about the muscle that you're working. You should be squeezing or engaging that muscle kind of before each motion. All right, lastly, we're going to get back on the floor. You can have a single or double weight with you. Knees are bent. For a tricep, for a skull crusher, that weight is just above my chest, and I'm bringing it down toward my forehead, squeezing my triceps. Again, think about your elbows are the same width apart as your shoulders. Okay, so upper arms are parallel, and you can be squeezing those triceps. All right, good work. All right, so that kind of concludes with those 6 rounds and those many variations that I worked through. That concludes most of the upper body motions that we do. So you'll see between this set and what I showed you in the introductory video for lower body, I really string a lot of those exercises together in what are called compound or complex exercises and combine those for a really efficient power-packed workout in a 30 or 45-minute class. So as you get comfortable with these couple videos, maybe do them a few times and get that structure and form ingrained in your muscle memory, then I hope you'll join back and some of the on the rest of the classes or sessions and continue to build your strength with me. So, and let me know your results. So thanks. Have a great day.